Hi, my name is Damien, also known as AMIEN. I'm the artist for this show called The Banquet. I'm a visual artist and also illustrator.
My name is Kelly Limerick and I'm a textile artist, but for The Banquet, I'm functioning as the producer for the show. So basically, The Banquet is a reflection on the routines and rituals that all of us are made to go through in everyday life, but it is shown through all these otherworldly characters that look a bit like us, but yet are a little foreign.
So I thought it's really important to highlight that digital art doesn't really have the same space in the fine art world. And I think it's important that people have a look and have a see the textual quality of the prints as well. I don't think it's really so much about the print itself, it's more about the medium, the message being the most important thing. Yeah.
So I think The Banquet is a reflection of the routines and rituals that all of us go through in everyday life, but they are shown through these otherworldly characters that look a little like us, but yet a little foreign. So even though the title is The Banquet, and of course we are expecting to see some kind of feast, but in the undercurrent of it, there's something that's almost sinister running through the background of the works, and this is reflective of the artist's personal journey and confronting things like existentialism and escapism. So in the presentation of the show, we wanted to try something different. The main artworks are digital paintings, but we also brought in 5 artisans and 1 musician to kind of bring the cross-disciplinary element out so that when people come to the space, it is fully immersive. You get an original composition by Wage when you step in, and it really fills up the space. And then we also have ceramics and woodwork by Studio, web technologists Sia, and Mandy Tan and Derek Ng, who is doing a book from before, which is kind of a Bible that's hinting at the universe that is, that The Banquet is in.
When I make the paintings, I normally do it without any kind of planning. So a lot of it comes from like a subconscious design. By means of that means that I start with very abstract colors and then slowly sharpening them as I go. So being subconscious as a theme, it means that I don't really have a control. I draw this out of all the influences that I have in my life. Motifs like Southeast Asian visuals and some of the more psychological aspect that is embedded in the painting is all part of it in a way that I don't really have full control. So I think I also become the spectator of my own work as with the audience.
For the production end, of course, it's difficult drawing so many people together and getting them to agree. And of course, the final artisans that you see in the show are not the only people that I approached. I actually approached many different people, and we had to, firstly they had to like Damien's work, which obviously all the current artisans love his work, so it's great. Yeah, but at the start, there were some people who were a bit skeptical, like, what is this show about? Like, if it's a solo show, then where is my name going to be? So the show's presentation is very alternative. We put it out as a solo show presented in collaboration with artisans. So I think all these words have some kind of meaning to it because some people rather identify as an artist or like an artisan, and because of that, it's so alternative and people cannot immediately digest it, and because of that, they would reject it. So I think that's one of the challenges I face as a producer, bringing up an alternative format and trying to get people to understand the importance between artisan and artist and that relationship.
As an artist, I often struggle with perfectionism, so I think this is one of the more crucial things that I try to cover. But also in the process, I'm trying to be vulnerable by sharing with people that actually even when the show is finished, I think I still feel like there's a sense that nothing is quite the way it should be, and I think that it's very unfair for artists to feel like this way for their own work. I think out of all the times that you have spent on your work, I think it's nice to give yourself the credit, but at the same time I feel like speaking to many artists, we tend to hold back on this kind of pleasurable reward system, and I think I try to uncover this by actually even putting this out here, because I think if it's up to me, I wouldn't be able to get this that far. I think that's where Kelly comes into play, because I think I'm sailing on the confidence of others, and it highlights the strength of others as compared to being able to do everything by yourself. So it's more like a teamwork rather than just like me, it's a me thing,
So I think the one thing that I would like people to take away from the exhibition is the importance of the artisan and the musician. Yeah, because I mean, of course, the artist is important as well, but in this alternative format, we want to highlight that the making and the techniques of making is as important as making the art itself. Because in Singapore, we are often, encouraged to be all-rounders. Like, oh, since you're an artist, you should be able to do like anything, from painting to sculpting. But that's not true. There are some people like this craftsmen, the artisans that I've brought in. They specialize in a certain medium, but they don't actually have what I call an artist's voice. And I feel like these collaborations between artists and artisans should be explored more, so that both the artisan and the artist have a chance to explore different mediums and to develop their own kind of character through their work.
One of the most important things for me, at least from what I envision, is that it is not a flat presentation. Even though the painting is two-dimensional, I want to lock people in an almost like spatial experience. So, for example, music is such an important thing for me because when I paint, I also listen to a lot of music as the background. I think it's really important to help to stimulate like the subconscious movement of the image. So obviously music comes in a way that responds to the visual. So in this case, Wish have to do it the other way. She's using the visuals to inspire her music. So I think that's a really interesting, it's like a different creative process, but it's really interesting as well. So when it comes to all the other things, as I said, I really want the experience to be more than just like a visual presentation. I want it to feel the objects. So a lot of this came from Unstudio with the pottery and all that. A lot of that is also come with trust because I know they're good at what they do. So simply knowing that the trust to have them do it and show us when they're ready is more than enough for me.
When I first stepped into Hearth space, I was really amazed by how the lights were all so proper and the flooring, everything was done properly. And I think when Damien and I were looking at different locations, he was quite quite certain that he wanted like a white cube gallery space. And when we stepped in, we knew it was right. So we are very happy to be able to be chosen for this cycle of Hearth. And I feel like it's such a good experience to be situated in Gillman Barracks because everyone knows that it's an arts district, and even the walk-in crowds we get has been very relevant, asking all the correct questions, and we get a big mix. Like we also have elder like seniors, and we also have little kids, but we can all feel their interest in the arts, and I think this is really helpful for both of us when we speak to them.
My experience working with Art Outreach is really the first thing that really stands out to me is the level of trust. So not in regards to trust, is literally letting us do everything, and in the sense that they're not even controlling, asking us or doubting us. So I think in that way it gives us the sense of control and power. In regards to being like emerging artists, you really want to have some understanding of how things work, and you shouldn't be told what to do, where to put things, or how you behave and all that. So I think a lot of this is almost like, because you trust me, I could do a better job at trying to present the show the way we want it. So I think that's one of the primary feature that I glean from working with Art Outreach, and it's really a fantastic program and space that's hosting us. I think for any artist trying to do this, of course it's very daunting. It's a lot of process, a lot of steps along the way, but I think you take it one step at a time. I think Art Outreach has a very accessible platform. I think all you need to know is that, of course, you have your work prepared, and then now you need your proposal, but your proposal doesn't have to be that daunting. Just try your best, submit anyway, and then just just hope that you're clear enough with your idea and your vision, and just let it happen. So I think that it's not really so much red tapes or bureaucratic processes. I think for here, I think it makes it easy to access the process, so that if you were going to get grants in the future, at least this is the necessary steps that you need to take